The first thing we're going to do is take some MAC Painterly Paint Pot, or you can use any kind of base, and just pop that on the outer 2/3 of my lid. So we're not doing the inner corner. This is pretty much my skin colour, so it just evens everything out. Next, I'm going to take a Bourjois pencil. This is the Noir and Blanc pencil, and it has like a black khol on one side and a white one on the other. I'm going to take the white side and I'm just going to warm it up on the back of my hand so it's nice and smooth, because when you are using pencils as bases, sometimes they tend to tug a little. So I'm just going to colour in the inner portion of the eye, so just the tear duct here. And then I'm going to take a small brush. This one's a Lancome lip brush, and I'm going to take the colour Crystal Avalanche, which is just a white with a lot of shimmer in it. I'm going to start pressing that onto the inner tear duct here, and then working it out over that white base. This really helps to brighten the look, as we're using quite a lot of dark colours, and if you have closed-set eyes, it also kind of elongates your eyes and makes them look further apart. Next, I'm going to take a stiff shader brush. This is the 239 from MAC, and I'm going to take the colour Springtime Skipper. This was from the MAC Barbie collection, but any kind of shimmery green, something like swimming, would work well as well. And then I'm just going to pop that where the white finished, here. And then by flipping my brush, I'm also going to start putting it right into the crease. So we're basically surrounding the white. We're leaving the outer corner of the eye free, just like that. Next, I'm going to take the colour Humid, which is the one right there. It's a dark, shimmery emerald green. I'm going to pop that on the other side of my brush and create my outer line, just like so. So you want to go along the line of your lower lash line and then go towards your brow. And then just press it inwards lightly. And we're going to be surrounding the green like we did the white, so just on the corner and then going into the crease a little as well. Let's start blending that. So as we're getting graduation along the lid, we're getting graduation along the crease as well as it gets darker towards the edge. Now we're going to take a blending brush. This is the MAC 222. I'm going to take a little bit of Wedge, which is just a matte mid-tone brown, fairly light brown. Put a bit of that on, and we're going to work that along the crease line. It's going to start blending out the green and adding some definition as well as some contrast in texture, because this is a matte and the rest of the shadows we've used thus far have been shimmery. Now I'm going to add my highlight. For this, I'm using an angled brush and a little bit of vapour. And you want to use something that's pretty matte because of all the shimmer on the lid. Now what we're going to do is define the outer view a little more, because as you can see on this eye, that green line is so stark that you really want to, add a little extra on the outer corner so that your eye is not pulled down too much. Take a little of Femme Noir, which is a really dark, almost black green from MAC. I'm going to pop just the tiniest amount of that on the end of my brush. And I'm going to put that in the outer V and also slightly into the crease. You really don't want too much. So once you have a little bit on, you can wipe off your brush so you don't add too much darkness. I'm just going to blend that. Now you can leave the eye like this and just add, liner and maybe a little bit of dark brown or green along the lower lash line, but I'm going to add this really interesting feature that Ashley Green has on her eyes, just for fun, just to show you that if you want to do something different you can. But on its own, it's a really pretty eye look. If I was doing it on its own, I would bring the green a little further in, just so the white isn't so stark, but with this dark line you really need something to open up the eyes, so I've left it the way it is. What I'm going to do first for the lower lash line is just take the black half of that Bourjois pencil and line my waterline. As you can see, I don't pull down my waterline, I just place my finger here so the skin doesn't move too much. And with a little bit of practice you'll be able to line without having to pull. And then we're going to start working that black into the lash line as well. Then what I'm going to do is take a green pencil. Now I don't have a dark forest green that would match the crease colour, so it looks a little bit off, but I'm using Urban Decay's Covet eyeliner, one of their 24/7 liners. And make sure it's quite sharp. It's quite difficult to sharpen these really because they're so soft, but give it your best try. So what I'm going to do is start going just under the lashes with that. It's always easier to start in the middle and then work your way to either end. And once you have a nice even line, you're going to want to do that little flick inwards. So the main problem is when you're doing your eyes separately, like I am for these tutorials, is getting them even. It's funny, when I do my own makeup, like in a rush, I sometimes do one whole eye and then I start doing the other one because I'm so used to doing it in tutorials. But that's roughly the kind of shape you want there. And then on the outer half, you don't want it to be too low because it'll make your eyes droopy, but not too high because you want enough space there for it to, you know, be a defining feature. Just like that. Now to set that, I'm going to be using that humid, so it just ties in better with the top half, which was there. And I'm going to use that on an angled brush. This one's from Sephora. And instead of just sweeping it across, which will cause some of the shadow to drop down, I'm literally just going to get it on the ends of my bristles and press it into that liner. And if you need to tidy it up a little bit, just use a Q-tip. If you made your line too fat. If you want to go for a more subtle look, you can make the line really thin or just not have the flicks. You know, this look is very versatile. I'm just doing the most dramatic version for you guys so that you can tone it down to what you feel comfortable with. I'm just going to do the top line with liquid liner from L'Oreal. This is my favourite liquid liner. This is the Super Liner Carbon Gloss. And then we're going to flick it out. Make sure that you do the flick at the same angle that you've done your shadow so you don't use up all that white space that you've left. Now I'm just going to add mascara to the top and bottom lashes and pop on these falsies, and these are from Red Cherry. As I just thought it would be nice to go with like feathery, wispy lashes because, you know, she has a lot of feather and that's what her whole look is inspired by. So I shall just pop these on and get back to you in a second. And so here are the finished eyes. On my cheeks, I'm wearing a little bit of Hipness blush. And then for the lips, I just decided to go for nude. She's wearing quite a pretty peachy nude, so I just went for Creme de Nude. It's not, you know, too pale. So I hope you guys like this look. It's, of course, very different, but it's something fun for you to try out. You know, if you miss out the bottom bit and the lashes, I think it could be pretty wearable. But yeah, I really enjoyed doing this one. Thank you so much for sending me requests. Please do send me more, especially with pictures, because even though I don't always do them, I do really get inspired by them and they give me great ideas of colours and, you know, mixes of textures and styles. And, you know, I don't always have time to kind of go through the internet and look for lots of inspirational pictures. When I want to do a tutorial, I kind of just, you know, want to sit down and do it because it does take quite a few hours up. So yeah, please do send more photos that you love to filthygorgeousmakeup@gmail.com, and I read every single email, and even though I don't always, you know, respond and say, oh wow, I love these photos, I've definitely seen it and it's definitely inspired me. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed this look and I shall see you all soon. Lots of love. Bye.